On Sunday, the Bengals beat the Giants 17-7. Both teams are 2-4. In London, the Bears beat the Jaguars 35-16. It was Chicago's third straight win. The Packers are 4-2 after beating the Cardinals 34-13. The Colts outlasted the Titans 20-17. The Texans rolled past the Patriots 41-21. The Buccaneers with a big 51-27 win at New Orleans. The Eagles got by the Browns 20-16. Baltimore with a 30-23 win at home over Washington. The Chargers beat the Broncos 23-16. The Steelers with a 32-13 win at Vegas. The Lions pounded the Cowboys 47-9. The Falcons over the Panthers 38-20. Tonight, the 3-2 Bills visit the 2-3 Jets. Baseball NLCS Game 1, the Dodgers shut out the Mets 9-0.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Moments like hearing my cat purr good morning mean a lot to me. But after being diagnosed with metastatic breast cancer, or MBC, which is breast cancer that is spread to other parts of the body, they mean even more. I take Ibrance, palbociclib.
Ibrance 125 milligram tablets with an aromatase inhibitor is for adults with HR-positive, HER2-negative MBC as the first hormonal-based therapy. Ask your doctor about Ibrance and visit Ibrance.com. Ibrance may cause low white blood cell counts that may lead to serious infections. Ibrance may cause severe inflammation of the lungs. Both of these can lead to death. Tell your doctor right away if you have new or worsening symptoms, including trouble breathing, shortness of breath, cough, or chest pain. Before taking Ibrance, tell your doctor if you have fever, chills, or other signs of infection, liver or kidney problems, are or plan to become pregnant, or are breastfeeding. Common side effects include low red blood cell and low platelet counts, infections, tiredness, nausea, sore mouth, abnormalities in liver blood tests, diarrhea, hair thinning or loss, vomiting, rash, and loss of appetite.
No way football is playing in the fall and winter.
Because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The only place in football where the offense is always on the field is on Moneyline. With the two best hosts in radio, Donnie Rightside.
If anybody wasn't watching, let's not know what you were doing.
And Kevin Walsh.
Forget act like you've been there before.
On the SportsGrid Radio Network, Sirius XM Channel 159.
Oh, the best hour of the day. It is officially underway. It's Moneyline on a Monday. Armchair quarterback. What happened yesterday? What happened Saturday? What's happened today in a doubleheader in Major League Baseball with afternoon action between the Dodgers and the Mets, followed by the Guardians and the Yankees. And maybe the most consequential football game of the year in the NFL plays out tonight. Why? What's at stake here, Kevin? Let's set the table. The stakes are the Buffalo Bills absolutely need to win or they drop to 3-3. The New York Jets absolutely need to win or they drop to 2-4. Robert Saleh got fired. So much on deck. The action is hot. It's Moneyline. It's Kevin. It's Donnie. My goodness, is an hour enough? We don't know. We don't think so.
No, it never is, but we make do with the time that we have. The Jets-Bills game tonight, it's one where sidewise, it's really hard to wrap my head around. A double needed spot doesn't come across all that often. I mean, the New York Jets have to respond to two straight losses. And the fact that their head coach was fired, their offensive coordinator was essentially fired as well. A cleaning of the house 5 weeks in. I mean, that just doesn't happen. And again, I know that's not exactly what happened, but it's about as close as you'll get 5 weeks into a season. You're home, division rival, first place on the line. It's all right there in front of you. But on the Buffalo side, you went from the bullies on the block, the best team in football, to, we put all these good teams on our schedule consecutively. Yeah. But Josh Allen has not lost 3 games in a row in his career, at least since his rookie season. So this is a spot that typically you just, if you find it, you show up and you bet Josh Allen. They're road favorites. They are projected to win this game. So
I don't know.
I'm going back and forth here, Donnie.
Yeah, I don't know what to make of this. Is Justin Fields playing today or is it Josh Allen? Did you see his passing prop number for today, Kevin? See that at all?
I was told, I think last night, 201.5.
Yeah, it's 197.5. Josh Allen.
Any
Now,
weather?
granted, yeah, a little bit of windy conditions, 10 to 15 mile an hour sustained winds, gusts up to 25. Your typical Meadowlands. Big temperatures under 50 degrees, so a little bit cooler, but nothing that's like, oh my goodness, these two quarterbacks don't have good arms. I mean, two guys that can absolutely throw it right through a hurricane at that point, right? So I don't think there's going to be any issues that way. But I like the Jets tonight. I really do like the Jets. I like the Jets at plus 1.5. Here's the issue I have. And sometimes in the NFL, you look, and you guys were right yesterday on that Cleveland game. I thought the Eagles would win by double digits. If you'd have told me before the game, 2 touchdowns out of your starting wide receivers for the Eagles, close to 200 yards receiving. Jalen Hurts, 2 touchdown passes, does not have a turnover. It should be a blowout. Well, when you get a blocked field goal, which returns it the opposite way, the Eagles defense didn't get a touchdown. They still couldn't cover the double digits there. But it was a third straight road game for Cleveland. It's a third straight road game for the Buffalo Bills. That's so paramount at this point here. Just on your final legs, constant travel here, tough games, losses all the way through. I'll start there. I like the Jets, and I think the Jets win this football game.
Well, so let me say this, though, DRS, right? You mentioned that, Lisa and I were able to, correctly get involved with the game between the Browns and the Eagles. Yep. But it's kind of one of those things, Donnie, where I would almost, kind of the olive branches, we were both right. Cleveland is god-awful. I mean, legitimately abysmal. But the defense showed up in we have to try and save our season mode. And we know there's still some talent on that side of the ball. But the biggest benefactor for someone that took the Browns was we had 8.5 points. We had 8.5 points in our pocket, right? The Eagles, Donnie, again, the blocked field goal is a 10-point swing.
Yes, it was.
And the Eagles clearly on the final possession when they ran it out could have scored. Like if AJ had a bit more separation, he probably Chase Browns it and walks into the end zone. My point is the number allowed me to play that game. Donnie, we're dealing with, a spread that is very unlikely to factor in, right? Still 2.5s on this game here tonight. So
1.5. Yeah.
1.5. Okay, again, the world. So we're just trying to pick a winner, and I don't have full confidence. I lean Buffalo because you mentioned even the Josh Allen passing yards prop, DRS, right? The bounce back spot that I've alluded to that I played last week against Houston. Obviously, I got smashed with him only thrown for about $130 in the game. Well, not that I'm martingaling the situation, but I refuse to believe that Josh Allen is going to become a quarterback that averages $180 per game. I can't wrap my head around that. Now he doesn't have the best opponent, Donnie, to break out yards wise in front of him. But we're getting come on, under 200 yards for Josh Allen. I have to play that.
The Jets, just looking at some statistics like Pro Football Focus, #1 pass coverage team in the NFL. Now, here also what plays into this transaction for me, because you're looking at some of those numbers, and Josh Allen is going to have to be an MVP for his team tonight. Rushing touchdown, he might have to get it. Passing touchdowns, obviously has to throw it. Over 200 yards, yes, and his rushing prop. The reason is we had Dr. Chow on today, and I wanted to get right to this game and say, help me out with Buffalo. Seems to think Shakir won't play tonight, and if James Cook does play, severely inhibited for what he can actually do. The two best weapons here. So that's why I'm leaning towards the Jets, because I say to myself, you can run on Buffalo, you can pass on Buffalo. The better defense is the New York Jets. I just need average Aaron Rodgers tonight with a cranked-up running game and Breece Hall. I think that's the pathway to victory. Like strong conviction on sides, yeah, you have them sometimes. I just look at the spot for the Jets, and I understand this too. Narrative sometimes do play into it. And sure, for a Hall of Fame quarterback, Kevin, you shouldn't actually need a narrative at times. But even those guys get him, where he might be just by himself sometime today and go, this game is all on me tonight. If we win, I'm going to get the credit. If we lose, it's going to be all my fault regardless of the final score. I'm looking at getting the best Aaron Rodgers tonight. Why? New offensive coordinator. Is it going to change a lot? No, it's not. But I do believe they're going to be enforcing that running game to help Aaron Rodgers to loosen up that secondary and take his shots when he needed. This isn't a game because I see some people out there, and look, maybe you're reading the different narrative. It's Aaron Rodgers' game. New offensive coordinator means he's throwing the ball 40 times tonight. It's going to go 35 of 40, 462, and 4 touchdowns just to prove a point. I don't buy that. It's just about a win tonight, and I do believe Braylon Allen and Breece Hall will be the factors in this game where Aaron Rodgers, I wouldn't be surprised, Kevin, 18 of 25, 225, a touchdown pass, no interceptions, and the Jets win this game.
Well, because here's the issue with that, Donnie, right? Again, we made these sweeping changes, but I'm still under the impression Rodgers is in control of a lot of the offense. Mm-hmm. And I'm not sure. I think Rodgers does have pressure tonight if he's honest with himself.
Big time.
I don't even know if Rodgers is honest with himself anymore. I'm serious. I don't know if he even is willing himself to acknowledge the situation that he has worked himself into. I don't know if he cares. I'm not saying he doesn't care if they win or lose. What I'm saying is if they do lose, I'm not sure he walks into that press conference uncomfortable. Just ripping RELAX and just move on to week 7 or, I don't know. It's just the way things feel to me with Rodgers now, Donnie. I'm not sure I can bet him as much as I want to on the narrative side of it because it does line up as a great narrative spot for him.
No, it does. It really does. And also, just from a perspective of the Jets need to win, obviously, just because you need to win, you don't get those. But this is one where Aaron Rodgers goes on every Tuesday with Pat McAfee. Imagine him getting beat up tonight and then going on that show and saying he doesn't want to talk about Jets football. Let's talk about something else. That's going to be one to watch. But the narratives are out there. It's sensational. It's great stuff. The boys will be live. We'll handicap this game a little bit more later in the show. We got baseball to talk about. The narratives yesterday in the NFL. Injuries to the Lions. Hutchinson. How does that play into it? And also, let's talk ourselves some Dallas Cowboys. All in, baby. All in. We'll be right back.
But I guess you didn't know. As the center story goes, baby, now I got the flow.
Fall is here. It's getting cooler. Football and the World Series are coming in.
Life is good.
SportsGrid makes it better. Get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
President Biden toured areas of Florida ravaged by the back-to-back hurricanes Sunday.
With the SportsGrid News Flash, I'm Trey Westerberg.
Biden announced $612 million for 6 Department of Energy projects in the Southeast. 2 of the projects are focused in Florida and will provide a combined $94 million in federal funds, according to the White House. Hurricane Milton made landfall in Florida as a Category 3 storm on Wednesday evening. At least 16 people were killed in the storm and over 1 million remain without power. A man was arrested outside of former President Donald Trump's campaign rally in Coachella, California Saturday after deputies assigned to a routine security checkpoint found him traveling with a loaded shotgun, handgun, ammunition, and several fake passports. The Secret Service said in a statement Sunday that the incident did not impact protective operations and that Trump was not in any danger. Upon his arrest by local police, the man made no threats aimed at Trump, and federal investigators have found no threatening material targeting Trump.
I'm Trey Westerberg with the SportsGrid News Flash.
In business, service is everything. Cintas delivers what you need to better serve your customers. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, tested and inspected fire protection systems, first aid and safety supplies, on-site AED training, or mops and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together. So visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
Extravagant, luxurious, lavish. The $7 Lux Cravings Box from Taco Bell satisfies all your crunchiest, cheesiest, sauciest cravings. Indulge in a beefy 5-layer burrito, chicken chalupa supreme, Doritos Locos Taco, and chips and a drink for an unluxurious price. It's Lux for less. Get yours today at Taco Bell. At participating Taco Bell stores for a limited time only while supplies last. Price and participation vary. Drinks excludes freezes. Tax extra.
Days are getting cooler and shadows are getting longer.
You know what that means?
It's football weather. So bundle up and keep it here for all the latest strategies and gridiron information.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Now, we can spend all day talking about Rick Brunson fighting with Dante DiVincenzo in the regular season that's about to be underway for the NBA, and Joel Embiid already having knee problems. We didn't even make it to the regular season, but we're going to table that. There's plenty of time to talk about it. Yesterday in the NFL was certainly interesting, to say the least. My best bet yesterday was Dak Prescott over 1.5 touchdown passes. Watching that game, sitting at home, saw him throw that red zone interception in the first half when it was a close game. Said it happened to be plenty more times. They proceeded to get pounded the rest of the way, which was fantastic because nobody had stats like Dak Prescott. I thought literally that there might be a chance that he didn't have a single touchdown pass, Kevin, in the first half. He might throw 3 in the second half because they'll just be able to dink and dunk their way down the field. Boy, was I wrong, and that sent alarm bells off in my head. Number one, how good the Detroit Lions were coming off of a bye into that game and absolutely decimated the Dallas Cowboys. Then proceeded to try and embarrass them, which they did at the end of the football game, which means having Jared Goff throwing touchdowns to Amon-Ra St. Brown up 4 touchdowns. Then getting the football back again after a turnover and running plays with your backup quarterback to try to get the football to offensive linemen actively playing wide receiver. It was a statement game by Detroit. We talked yesterday on Pro Football Today. I thought pound for pound, the Detroit Lions were the best team in the NFC on offense, only co-rivaling the 49ers. My opinion has now changed. They are the best team overall in the NFC, but boy, oh boy, Kevin, you saw that injury to Hutchinson. That guy is an absolute game breaker, game shaker. I will collapse the pocket routinely for 60 minutes out here. What an injury to the Lions.
Yeah, I think for me, Donnie, Detroit definitely put on that caliber of performance, right? Best team in football performance. My issues would be twofold. I don't believe in the defense. And in the Hutchinson injury, and I don't think many people would stop me then from saying that. The other people may say is a little unfair, but I don't really care. I'm still not all too sure about Jared Goff when the playoffs knock around and all of a sudden we're in a conference championship game. We'll see. We'll see. You know, everyone can say, they were close last year. He's been to a Super Bowl. He has. He absolutely has. We'll see. I'm not sure I'm there on this football team at that level, right? But Detroit is they are right now, I think clear as day, a tier 1 team in the NFL. Again, unless your tiers are Chiefs because they've earned it alone, which whatever is annoying. Other than that, the Lions are very obviously in that tier. But I do agree. I think the bigger takeaway is Dallas. They're 0-3 at home. They've been embarrassed in all 3 games. As you said, the fake comeback you expected yesterday was because of the fake comeback against Baltimore.
Yeah.
They are no showing these games in their own building. I don't want to say they were lucky to beat the Steelers. They were fortunate to win the game. And they probably deserve to win, but you don't always win when you're supposed to. If Dak doesn't complete that pass on 4th down, Donnie, they would be sat there 2-4. Okay, right? I mean, what are they? 3-3 right now, so they're 500. You know, the Eagles are only 3-2. Washington now is 4-2. It's not dire for the Dallas Cowboys, but again, that upcoming schedule, I believe it's the Falcons, then the Niners, then the Eagles, then the Texans. I mean, my oh my. We've seen what it looks like so far this season when Dallas has to play a team with a pulse. It looks bad.
Yeah, it does look bad. It looks really bad. And yes, I mean, and again, mission accomplished for the Lions to go in there and beat them up so bad, then try to embarrass them off top. Like, don't you ever think you're going to get another chance to beat us here, even though my coach melted down last year. We're not having any meltdown. Your team is getting melted down on the field live, and it was impressive to watch all the way through. Now, there was a lot of hot topics yesterday from the NFL slate, which we're going to try to get to as many as we can. I did want to bring this topic up, and it wasn't a great football game. The Steelers went on the road and absolutely blasted the Las Vegas Raiders, 32-13, 3-point line. Figured it was a little bit off, but maybe the Raiders could be that team that fights it all. They were terrible in the game. The Raiders are done. They're probably going to fire their coach at the end of the season, look for a new quarterback. It's over. Trade Devontae Adams. Trade Max Crosby at this point. You are light years away from ever being competitive, and maybe you have to try again like you did leaving Oakland, where it's like, we're going to be so bad and gain so many good draft picks that we're going to be able to win, and then you had a TV general manager and John Gruden as your head coach, and you blew that again. You're going to have to restart. My focus isn't on them. Look here, Kevin. The Steelers won going away. They're 4-2, 3-1 on the road. Great performance. Watch that game all the way through. We had 2 games on in the Philadelphia area, Dallas Cowboys game, and then obviously the Pittsburgh game. So I wanted to focus and watch that game because I was cheering on a bet, which ended up getting 11 yards for Jalen Warren. He did 11.5. Let's put that aside. Watching Fields in that football game, they're doing what he asked, Kevin. He is so electric with running, unstoppable force. Kevin, if you are, and they might win 10 games this year. They might win 9. Mike Tomlin's probably going to have an above average 500 record, which is all he cares about. Just like Alex Orji at Michigan. Just because you pick up wins doesn't mean it's the right thing, Kevin. He can't be their quarterback. And I know, I'll tell Lisa tonight, and he's going to get all upset, and they won. What did you want him to do? You can't have the simple play become the, oh, my goodness, I don't know if I can make this play. There were series, there were plays in this game, Kevin, where it was like, let me roll out of the pocket. There was a guy 10 yards from me with nobody around him, and I damn near hit the, second deck in the arena because I was so off base at this point. It's working now, Kevin. They got to go to Russell Wilson. Am I wrong?
Here's where I think you're wrong. Here's where I think we can meet in the middle, Donnie. I do not think Russell Wilson is going to come in and be so much better of a passer. It will make up for then the zero that he is in the athleticism category and what Fields can do on the ground. Arthur Smith's whole desire is to run the ball anyway. I think that mobile quarterback works. Where I'm saying I'll meet you in the middle is this Steelers team winning 10, 11 games, being in the playoffs, getting drilled like they always do, and being like, hey, Justin Fields, here's $35 million a year. You're our franchise quarterback. That is how this team will continue their just run of mediocrity, Donnie, is if they lock in a guy averaging 135 passing yards a game to be their franchise quarterback.
And it's crazy to say because people will look at that final score and be like, dude, he's doing exactly what you want. But if you watch the games, it's not sustainable. It's like when Alex Orji played USC. Great that they won that football game. But the minute that game ended, I'm like, he can't be your quarterback. You crazy? He just led him to a victory. You have to be able to pass the ball. And sometimes, Kevin, it's not even the passing the ball. It's make the plays when they're available and use it with efficiency. The Brock Purdy say, hey, I'll give you the deep shots here. But when that guy's open 8 yards down the field, I'm hitting him right between the numbers. Fields can't do that. Don't care if they won by 3 touchdowns. Unsustainable. Let's continue with the NFL talk. Major League Baseball. Hot topics right here. It's Moneyline. We'll be back.
Coming. Don't look like an idiot at work. Know your stuff. Football and everything else. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network. The SportsGrid Radio Network presents This Date in Sports History.
Chris Chambliss has won the American League pennant.
1976, Chris Chambliss' ninth-inning walk-off home run gives the Yankees the pennant over the Kansas City Royals in Game 5 of the ALCS.
To win a championship during that season was just the thrill of a lifetime.
After a 12-year absence, the Bombers returned to the Fall Classic, but were swept by the Big Red Machine. For SportsGrid Radio, I'm Mike DeMurgis.
The Technology Minute with George Capalbo.
If you've ever brewed your own beer, you may have discovered that bad brewer's yeast, through a process called hyperattenuation, can massively boost the beer's alcohol content, change its flavor, or, in a worst-case scenario, make your beer explode.
Cheers.
New research by the American Society of Microbiology found that adding small amounts of one of 8 different kinds of killer toxins to your beer prevents bad taste, extra alcohol content, and explosions. But if not done carefully, might lead to other problems. Follow me at Chicapalbo on X and stay tuned to the Technology Minute for more cool stuff like this.
Moneyline.
Just own it here. It was clear. You come off the field, you and Robert Saleh can't even embrace in a hug, but you'll tell us, great relationship. Like if me and Kevin were in public, it's like, I'm going to try to go over and dap up Kevin. Yo, Kev, come over. Let's grab something to eat. Yeah, I'm not eating with you. Get out of here. He's just a funny guy. He's just, no. Like perception is reality sometimes.
Catch Moneyline with Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh. Weekdays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network. Fall is almost here. It's time to stow the lawnmower and get ready for all that glorious action coming your way. Stay tuned to SportsGrid for all the strategies, angles, and info you need to get the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
One game I want to talk about quickly here. Wasn't all that exciting, and maybe the outcome, slight favorite, is the Chargers game, Kevin. 23-16, but they got up early in that game, or should I say late in that game, 23-0, 16 points by the Broncos in the second half, weren't able to win and cover. The only reason I brought this game up is how good of coach Jim Harbaugh is. Like, it's just everywhere he goes, and sitting here in Philadelphia, which we'll parlay this over in just a few moments here, of how, there's some issues at the head coach and the coaching ranks. Why is it when you get a Jim Harbaugh team, the last thing on your mind is like, you know what? I wonder if we have a good game plan. I wonder if we be disciplined. I wonder if we can change our foundation in a matter of months here. That went from being like the softest football team to will ground and pound and play great defense with less of talent than we had last year. I just watched the Chargers, and I love every single thing, Kevin, about that team, which means in 2 to 3 years, they're going to overtake the Chiefs. I don't give a damn if Patrick Mahomes is around or not.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at some point, Andy is going there's a whole conversation to be had, Donnie, about what the Chiefs look like when Andy retires, because the job's going to go to, like, Spags or Matt Nagy. Like, that's going to be really interesting.
The enemy?
Clearly, again, whoever tricked him into taking that commander's job, man, it's so unbelievable the way that all played out. He's at UCLA right now. And like one of the worst teams in college football.
Did they win this past weekend? Did they beat Minnesota?
They lost at home. To Minnesota, Donnie.
Jeez.
Like Minnesota has never played a game out in California. I refuse to believe they have. And those kids are in there saying the running back was like, "Man, we have the home field advantage here." Are you kidding
Oh my goodness.
me?
In LA, Minnesota.
Man, to your hardball point though, DRS, that is. I bought in on that team. I was trying to find out to what level, and I played what I'm hoping is going to be a pretty simple one. Chiefs, Chargers to finish in any order, first and second in that division. It was like minus 125 because Harbaugh was going to have that team. They had a good enough schedule, winning the games they were supposed to. And that's what they've done. They have 2 losses. And the game against the Steelers that they lost, they had all kinds of injuries. We know that, right? Herbert got injured in game. Where then the only other loss would be to Kansas City, which, you know, is what it is. I agree with you on the Harbaugh side of it, man. I think it's really good. I do wonder, though, Donnie, because at some point they're going to have to level up in talent. And maybe that, like, they'll be fine. And they'll be like, no, listen, like, we're going to be rock stars when we level up in talent. I almost feel, though, that the devoid of talent has allowed Harbaugh ball to really take control of that organization. And they hey, Herbert, listen, man, you don't got to worry about it. Now, he had big yardage, actually, for a lot of that game until they shut it down. But it's interesting to me the way I feel the offseason moves made things even easier for him to get people to buy in.
Yeah, taking away some of those veteran wide receivers. Like, Coach, we better be throwing this football. Now you got Lab McConkey in there. He's not going to be like, hey, Coach, you better throw me the football. You still got Johnston, who didn't do anything last year, now saying, you know what, I'll buy into your system. So there's got a lot of people buying in. I just loved it. I saw that -3. I was like, boy, this just feels perfect. Like the line is set up just to read it and go with the favorite team. Like, hey, Denver's playing great football, and they're at home, and the Chargers haven't shown much. Boy, the Chargers were awesome yesterday in that game. Enjoyed it.
Yeah, they were. Can I just bring up Bo Nix quickly?
Yeah.
Because Bo Nix is giving me quite a headache where, now listen, it's more just like me being fascinated probably than anything else. But I took Bo Nix over 3,000, I think it's like 15.5 passing yards. Yeah. And I took like an alt of 4,000 plus, right?
Yeah.
And again, Donnie and I are volume guys. The NBA is 8 days away. You're going to hear us talk about volume quite a lot.
Yeah. Yep.
Donnie, he's 9th in the NFL in pass attempts.
Yes.
And his yardage is atrocious. Yeah. Like, he had to scratch and claw yesterday to get to 216 yards. Like, it was miraculous that he ended up at 216.
Yep. In a full comeback fashion at that point here.
Yes.
Other games across the board yesterday. By the way, the team that I actually get a kick out of watching now is the Tennessee Titans. Like, up is down. Will Levis is horrible. Calvin Ridley sitting there like, I got 8 targets. I didn't even get a catch yesterday. They paid me like $50 million guaranteed to come in here. They're way too talented. The only thing that went right for me in that game yesterday was I didn't bet the side, but I thought the Titans would win that game. Joe Flacco throwing 2 touchdowns, just like, under 200 yards, still being able to get a win. Shane Steichen's an unbelievable head coach. Just wait till he actually gets a formula around him that can be successful. But the Titans, that's like Tony Pollard got the touchdown. I knew he would. But everything else, like nothing works on that team. Like they actually have a really good defense. They have places on a solid offensive line, wide receivers, and 2 running backs capable. The quarterback is so far gone. He flat out is trash. When does the Will Levis experiment actually end at this point? Because it's they actually probably should have Kevin above average record right now, and they're 1-4 because of why Will Levis stinks. We'll be right back.
Coil up that garden hose.
And SportsGrid has you covered with strategies and info on football, baseball, and everything else. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
NFL on Sunday, the Bengals beat the Giants 17-7. Both teams are 2-4. In London, the Bears beat the Jaguars 35-16. It was Chicago's third straight win. The Packers are 4-2 after beating the Cardinals 34-13. The Colts outlasted the Titans 20-17. The Texans rolled past the Patriots 41-21. The Buccaneers with a big 51-27 win at New Orleans. The Eagles cut by the Browns 20-16. Baltimore with a 30-23 win at home over Washington. The Chargers beat the Broncos 23-16. The Steelers with a 32-13 win at Vegas. The Lions pounded the Cowboys 47-9. The Falcons over the Panthers 38-20. Tonight, the 3-2 Bills visit the 2-3 Jets. Baseball NLCS Game 1, the Dodgers shut out the Mets 9-0.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
I was so excited when I heard the sandwich was back. What's up? This is Mike.
And this is Celia.
And a little thing we love about the Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich
is the symphony of flavors. You can always count on that crispy, tender, juicy chicken. It's so good.
My favorite part is the pimento cheese. Topped off with the honey, it all comes together perfectly. I like the original.
I like the spicy chicken fillet. But either way,
you're getting a winner.
The Chick-fil-A Honey Pepper Pimento Chicken Sandwich is back with a bite. Try it with the original or spicy filet, now for a limited time. Real guests paid for their testimonials.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Before your very eyes.
The boys of summer are about to become the champions of fall.
MLB playoffs are coming.
And SportsGrid will bring you all the angles, strategies, and info.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Let's continue ripping down. We're going to get to a little bit of Major League Baseball, too, because I got some passionate sides and RBIs tonight. We might be able to tee off for afternoon doubleheader action. But before we do that, of course, the NFL is king. We might even talk a little college football today. Shout out Ohio State, Oregon, because, again, I lead with it this morning on the early line. Kevin, you know what I said? Boy, man, for all those people that weren't able to watch that game, because who would watch basically a preseason football game in the middle of the way? Absolutely fantastic stuff. But besides that, Philadelphia Eagles 20, Browns 16. Eagles come off a bye. Season-saving win over the Browns, who are on their third straight road game and ready to implode. But put it this way. Let me lay this out for you. Philadelphia Eagles defense, much maligned to say the least, coming into this game after that Bucs performance. Didn't give up a touchdown. They can never sack quarterbacks, sack the guy 5 times. And we're still angry at this game, being Eagle fans and also a national outlook, because you're trusting what your eyes tell you. The Eagles should have put away that football team. 27-9, 27-13, something really easy. They needed a late conversion to actually put the game away, which let's start here. When we talk head coaches, Nick Sirianni, we're talk obviously, Jacksonville Jaguars, we spent ad nauseum yesterday. When is the time that Doug Peterson's going to get fired? Let's just focus on Sirianni and learning from your mistakes. Whether or not Saquon Barkley caught that ball or dropped that ball against the Atlanta Falcons. Never in a million years should that have been the play call. You live with it and you play the percentages on the way out. We're handicappers, right? We like analytics. We're using percentages here. Yes, I understand if he caught the ball, they would have won. It wasn't the right play call. You'll never convince me of that. And you would have probably won the game if that wasn't the case. Or you run it on that down, then run it on 4th down, get the first down, and the game's over anyway. Remove that from the equation. You start to take a look at, how these teams are ending football games. Yesterday, the Philadelphia Eagles had the football where they needed basically, 2 first downs to clinch the game. But more importantly, you wanted to get the Cleveland Browns to use their timeouts. I want to ask you this question. It did work yesterday. A deep ball to A.J., which was a good pass, but an even better catch, ended that game. Kevin, if that ball would have hit the ground, I would have absolutely loved to watch that play out, because the Browns would have been down more than a field goal. As you know, if they were a field goal, they try to get in the field goal range. They're down 4 points. They're going for the touchdown, and we've seen it happen before. How do you think that game plays out if they throw that pass and it's incomplete?
So I think they still win, considering
you're supposed to still. Yes.
They haven't allowed
80% you're still supposed to win
year.
Yeah.
But I was with someone who needed one A.J. Brown reception to close out a parlay.
Ooh.
And I said, I'm rooting for you, But I hate to tell you, if they throw the ball for the rest of this game, I think there's going to be a riot. And the next play was that deep shot to A.J. Brown that iced the game.
Yep.
And that, to me, was a push-pull moment because Sirianni is a very fiery guy, and the nature of him kind of doubling down, it fires you up a little bit, right? Where you're like, you know what, man, whatever. We're going to go out there, flex the muscle a little bit. But it does also drive me crazy because you are now doubling down on being wrong, which is usually the sign of somebody that doesn't know what they're doing. And that's the downside of it. I don't want to jump ahead, Donnie, but I'm assuming you're going to get to what seemingly is a video of Sirianni taunting the fans.
I watched it live. Yeah, I saw it when it was happening.
I didn't see it live. I only saw it on Twitter, and I've watched the video a few times. I know it's a short video, but it is such an insane clip. Again, it's not that this isn't me being like an Eagle fan, being like he insulted me. It's not about that. For the position that Sirianni is in, to do anything that would be antagonizing to the fans is, again, a guy that has completely lost his mind. He should be doing a rallying. Sirianni's whole thing is essentially that he gets Eagles fans. He understands Philly fans. So if you're being booed because you're doing things incorrectly, Sirianni should almost be like, no, I'm booing right with you. We've not been good enough, but let's rock, let's roll. We just grabbed a win. I'm telling you, I am so mind blown that he did that. The portion of the video where Brandon Graham is like laughing along with him, I have to wonder if Sirianni was talking like to one singular specific person, a Browns fan. I cannot wrap my head around that guy actually thought like, yeah, you want to boo me, now what? We just won the game. Because that is a guy that has completely lost the plot.
He's become a lightning rod, and you don't need to be. You're a CEO head coach. You should be the least lightning rod of all time at this point. And if anybody's ever been to a football game, well, how could he hear him? There's music playing. There's 70,000 fans. Trust me. There are quiet points in the game where there might be fans that are upset, and they are letting players and coaches have it, and they can hear every single piece of that.
Yeah.
And he's been known. I remember last year yelling at the Kansas City fans after that victory walking off, and we get the type of character he is. But you're right about this. It's a simple equation. And I said it yesterday where I thought Lamar Jackson would have a big game because Jaden Daniels, and this isn't even a knock on Jaden Daniels. Sometimes you like the bravado. But when they say, hey, man, you're being compared to two-time MVP Lamar Jackson. Wow. That's an unbelievable honor. Like, I'm trying to be my own player, but just to be in the same sentence, that goes off better than, that's cool, but we're not the same player. So, okay. So Lamar had a big day. And again, I don't think Lamar Jackson probably even fed into that, but that's just the way the perceived reality is. Nick Sirianni should have took the podium and said exactly what you said yesterday. Nick, boy, the offense can't get out of its own. I know. We got to get it going. And trust me, like, I was ready to boo the fans along with you, just like you're saying. We'll get it together, but as much as we love the Philadelphia crowd and they're with us here, like the booing, nobody likes that at work, but I completely understand it. Goes right by. Nobody cares about it. Yep, said the right thing here. Now you're engaging with fans, but also the end of the first half, Kevin, if you remember, and sometimes these are big games that can get yourself fired. It's a 10-3 football game. They just get sacked on third down, so it's a long field goal. Time's running out in the first half. And I'm saying, as I'm driving home in the car going, 57-yard line of field goal, I said, well, Jake Elliott's got the leg for that. But then I go, well, if he misses it, you give them the football at midfield, maybe a dink or dunk play, and they get a field goal. If you just punted it, and again, played Bill Parcells football down to the 10-yard line, the Cleveland Browns take a knee, go into the locker room, you're up a touchdown, and Cleveland has no momentum and can't get out of their own way. Blocked field goal goes the other way, it's 10-10, opens the floodgates. Now, if anybody watches post-game press conferences, usually it's the coach up there, the players get run in and this and that. John Kincaid runs a radio show, a morning show in Philadelphia. And he said this, and it's fantastic because sometimes I watch and say to myself, like, I don't know if I like this. And you see it in other sports, but not all the time. But this is now routine in Philadelphia. And I'll read you the tweet here from John Kincaid. Just in case Nick Sirianni needs a reminder, Bring Your Child to Work Day is held in April. Again, no other head coach is using their post-game presser as a family gathering. It's ridiculous behavior, especially in the light of team struggles. Why do the @Eagles allow this? It's bizarre. I understand where he's coming from here. Because sometimes, like, Steph Curry clinches a game-winning three-point shot in the playoffs, they win a championship. It's a party atmosphere, brings his daughter up there, you get some good laughs, it's a celebration. Big playoff victory. Hey, I didn't know so-and-so's kid there. Yeah, you know what? Let me bring my boy up here and let him share in this big moment with me. Kevin, every home game Nick's around, it looks like he has a family reunion up there on the podium. Kids talking, kids sitting beside him. There's no, and I feel like sometimes I'm the bad person, but I see a lot of people in the comments going like, you know what? I didn't know what to think about this, and I thought, I just want to keep quiet, but you're right about it. Why are his kids up there when you're trying to ask questions when the team is struggling? There's a time and place for that. Win the Super Bowl, Kevin. Yeah. Bring your whole family up there.
Well, I've heard the theory posited on, because NBA guys would do it, and I heard the theory posited. I'll give credit. It was Nick Wright. It was like, I think they do it, so that way the questions are a lot less harsh, because like, oh, come on, my kid's here, right? It's like it's a protection thing. Let me just say this, though. Yeah. Let me just say this, Donnie, right? Because for me, you left out the main part of the block field goal. Third down, they took a sack. Why are we kicking it? 3rd and 1. Why are you throwing the damn football?
Knowing you need just a few more yards. Yeah, just a few yards. Get it easier.
All you had to do was you have a play that is so effective. Year. Do we outrule it? And we're out there doing drop. I can't with that. I can't.
Such a talented team, but I see it should be the easiest position. Go for it, yes. Don't go for it. But sometimes I think if you just brought a fan down there to be the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, it would run. Same thing I tell you. General managers, give your first-round pick over to the fan base. They will outdraft you 9 out of every 10 years. Yeah. It's just a fact. It's a fact. We'll be back. I want to talk baseball next. It's the playoffs. Stay tuned. Right
here. Get a chum or something. Yeah, it's getting cooler. Football weather is here. Stay tuned for all the latest odds, strategies, and info. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Progressive presents the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Major League Baseball Sunday National League Championship Series Game 1 of the best of 7 goes to the Dodgers. They beat the Mets 9-0. Game 2 is today. Sean Manaea starts for the Mets. It's a bullpen game for the Dodgers. The Yankees and Guardians square off tonight in the Bronx. Game 1 of the American League Championship Series. The Yankees will start Carlos Rodon while Alex Cobb gets the start for the Guardians. Guardians manager Stephen Vogt on the game plan.
We're playing a very, very good Yankee team. We've seen them in the regular season. This is one of the most talented teams in the league, so we know we have our work cut out for us. We're going to enjoy tonight, and when we wake up tomorrow, it's go time.
Bundle auto and home, renters or condo, and save with Progressive. That's the SportsGrid Sports Flash. I'm Chuck Sanders.
Macy's is here to help you shift seasons in style. Shop fall wardrobe must-haves like matching knit sets and dresses, quilted jackets and puffers for her, and vintage-inspired sweaters he'll love. And Macy's has great deals on home essentials like cozy blankets and throws and modern kitchen appliances. Plus, Star Rewards members earn rewards on every purchase except gift cards, services, and fees. Learn more at Macys.com/Star Rewards. Today at Macy's.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
When the weather cools off, Major League Baseball playoffs heat up. Sit tight. The World Series is coming. Keep it here for every bit of the action with strategies and information to give you the winning edge. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Chat box popping today. Thanks for tuning in. SportsGrid on demand on YouTube. Look at that. More subscribers every day. Hit the subscribe button. Come in and say hello. Just like my guy Chris Warren's in here. How about producer Joe Friezo in here? Tavester, Justin T, Justin Pig. Everybody's out here enjoying the show today. Thank you for that and all the ways that you can listen. Great stuff here. But I did want to talk Major League Baseball. You got a doubleheader today, Kevin. 4:08 first pitch. Mets Dodgers. Live from L.A., a Columbus Day special. It's a celebration out there. How do you feel about afternoon baseball, Kevin? I love it. Love this.
Is this the only day that they'll be running head-to-head?
Yes.
Or they'll be running like weekday
Yeah,
not interference.
Tomorrow, Kevin, is
no,
Cleveland, New York. The next day is Mets, Dodgers. The next day is Mets.
And then Thursday, 5 o'clock, Guardians, Yankees.
I'm not seeing that right, am I? Is it just my odds board? There's not 2 days off for the Yankees, right? The Yankees don't have 2 days off. Okay, good.
Not that I'm seeing.
My odds board just shows 10-16, 10-17 as only the Dodgers and the Mets. Just might
10-17, Donnie. They play at 5:08 in Cleveland.
It's beautiful. Oh, that's so good. That's fantastic. More afternoon action. You don't need the net. You don't need the late night stuff. All right, let's get the anger out here, which Kevin has for a doubleheader, which clears the way for Monday Night Football. It's a great day. It's a perfect day. If you are the Cleveland Guardians and you want this to be a long series, which means at least 6 or 7 games, you must win today. Does that mean I'm taking the Cleveland Guardians? Absolutely not. Carlos Rodon can be had. He's a left-handed pitcher. Here's the angle today, Kevin, which I'll be playing 2 guys, which I love to do. It feels like the regular season again. Rodon cannot get out right-handed batters. He struggled in the season, struggled in the playoffs, and now you take a look at Jose Ramirez, switch hitter, which will be batting from the right side. Lane Thomas will bat from the right side. Limited at-bats over the past 30 days against lefties, but look at Ramirez. 12 at-bats, a 545 ISO. It's off the charts. Lane Thomas, 467. Lane Thomas hit that grand slam basically to put the Cleveland Guardians into the series against the Yankees. Jose Ramirez, Thomas. Take these each to get an RBI. One of these guys is going to come through for you tonight. That's my handicap on the Cleveland game. But what are your thoughts on Cleveland and New York in the series itself, too?
Yeah, I think the Yankees are the better baseball team. I think that the Yankees should be getting the job done in this series. I think the game-to-game of it all is very interesting because Rodon does not necessarily provide a world of confidence. He had an up-and-down regular season, and he ultimately got hit around by Kansas City. But here's the thing. I think the way we discuss Rodon and the way they price Rodon are not the same, right? If this was minus 130, I'd be like, all right, you know what? Yanks at home, better ball club. Let me get involved. At minus 165, now I feel like I'm paying a little bit more of a premium. I think the thing that I'm most interested in is, will Aaron Judge have himself a big series? Again, too talented for the struggles to continue. Did have an extra base hit against the Kansas City Royals in the closeout game. And could there be some money to be made on Aaron Judge in this series? And that is somewhat stripping away the numbers, Donnie, which is not, I know what you do and you should not do. And again, but I just wonder if there is a market. I don't know what it would be. 3+ hit run RBI, home run, 2+ home runs. I don't know what it would be. 2 doubles, 4 bases. Something with Aaron Judge to just say, I'm going to play this bet for the series and expect to turn money.
Yeah. No, look, this should be, and I preface this by saying, I said it last week and I'm saying it again today, even on the early line, Kevin. If you're a Yankees fan, you are in the absolute best spot in the world, win or lose. You win, you go to the World Series, you get what you wanted, you watch them play. Let's just say the Dodgers for a World Series championship, fantastic. Like I'm teleporting back to the 70s when they had those rivalries here. But now you look forward and say, well, what happens if the Dodgers do lose to Cleveland? Cashman's gone, your manager Boone is gone, and you're going to have major changes to that lineup. And now there are no more excuses. The purse string's open. You know, you're re-signing everybody. You're getting big free agents, and you're really going after it. Old school George Steinbrenner style. So as a Yankee fan, you should absolutely be loving this because you're supposed to get to the World Series. If you do, great. If you don't, major changes. Win either way. Now let's flip it over to the Mets and the Dodgers. I'm actually liking the Mets today. The Dodgers don't give up any runs. It's been 3 years since the Dodgers have given up any runs. Contrarian play today is on the Mets. Minaya is on the mound. He's an interesting lefty, sidewinder, quirky type of guy. Now, granted, the Dodgers aren't going to fall for things like the Philadelphia Phillies do, the dumbest baseball team in the history of the plate. You saw yesterday with the Dodgers. Oh, you're not going to throw us a strike, Senga? We're just not going to swing. And then when you do throw us a strike, we're going to light you up. We're going to blast you 9-0, and away you go on. Dodgers are supposed to do that. This is a bullpen game from the Dodgers again. But Donnie, the bullpen has been fantastic. Look, sooner or later, throwing 7 pitchers out there is going to either A, wear out your bullpen, or B, you're going to get some good swings on the ball from Lindor, Vientos, Nimmo, and Alonso. So I do think there's a great chance the Mets win today. Same thing I'm talking about the Guardians, where we say, hey, just take 2 dogs, one might win. Might be a good theory. The same way I took that Cleveland Guardians saying, forget about the Guardians. Just take some RBI props at plus money. I think you'll be better for it. New York Mets today for me, team total over 3.5, Kevin. I think they get the 4 runs. If they can score 4 runs and still lose this baseball game. But I think sooner than later, the law of averages have to come back where it's not, as I use the term, Sandy Koufax pitching every inning against you as a Dodgers pitcher going we can't hit this guy. It's bullpen guys. And it's not Kenley Jansen 1 through 9 in his prime for the Dodgers. Like every inning, an unbelievable closer comes in. No. Today, I think the Mets can rise up. I think they can win, but I'm more confident that they can get the 4 runs today.
Yeah, what I love, and this is just from an enjoyment point of it, and maybe my issues I have with sometimes the playoffs. And it's not just baseball, but like Donnie, that game today, if you look at the spread, you go, ooh, that looks like a regular baseball game, right?
Yes.
It's so much of the divisional series, a wild card round. 6, 7, minus 130 to the under. It's like,
yep.
Huh? You know what I mean? So I like that looks like a normal baseball game. And I think the big thing for the Mets is Citi Field has been great, right? They won both games in Citi Field against the Philadelphia Phillies. You never want to lose any games in the playoffs. But that first game, you get it out of your system. You lose by a ton. It's all good. You take this next game, you flip it in a major way. You never have to come back to this building potentially, right? We still do 2-3-2, Donnie, in Major League Baseball. So, yeah, I think the Mets are still in a totally fine spot. I think the Mets, I think they dropped down to like 7-1, I want to say, to win a World Series. That feels like that moved a little too far, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah. And sometimes you see that Richter scale win like nobody's going to stop the Dodgers. You can't even score on it. Here we go with Mookie Betts and Shohei Ohtani cracking heads out here. We're going to talk about that Monday Night Football game coming up next and certainly try to get after him. By the way, I still can't bet on FanDuel, Kevin. Sent 6 pictures in, which included every bit of information. Haven't heard that yet. And bet on FanDuel. They would actually won money off me this past weekend. Other books won money off me this weekend. Let's hammer it tonight. We'll be right back.
The boys of summer become the champions of fall. The World Series is on its way. And SportsGrid brings you every angle. This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With 2 former Super Contest winners, Grady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season like none other.
SportsGrid TV and radio networks are the premier streaming video and audio channels dedicated to serving the sports wagering audience. Found on major smart TV platforms and streaming on SportsGrid Radio and SiriusXM Channel 159. SportsGrid's real-time data, expert commentary, and entertaining analysis transform viewers into informed sports enthusiasts. Our weekday radio lineup begins with the early line at 8 a.m. Eastern with Ben Stevens and Donnie Rightside. Donnie joins Kevin Walsh on Moneyline at 11 a.m. Eastern, followed by Football Full Circle at noon Eastern. Kaplan and crew join the party at 1 p.m. Eastern. And Pharrell Coast to Coast keeps things rolling from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern. Get in the mix with Kevin Walsh and Game Time Decisions at 6 p.m. Eastern. Evenings simmer with Carver and Lisi. Then boils over with Gabe Moritzi on Sports Rage Late Night at 10 p.m. Eastern. To find out where to find SportsGrid that's best for you, go to sportsgrid.com. It's smarter to be on SportsGrid. Kaplan and crew.
Manny Machado is so frustrating right now for this reason. Great leadership I've seen, but how many strikeouts does Manny have where he's flailing at curveballs that are 6 inches off the plate? It's like he's made up his mind. He's swinging before the pitch is even made. I don't know. Browner, talk me off the ledge.
It's Kaplan and crew with Scott Kaplan, Alex Padilla, and John Browner. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific on the SportsGrid Radio Network.
No way football is playing in the fall and winter.
Because the hits don't hurt as much when you're numb. Get the lowdown on all the sports action coming up right here.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
This is the SportsGrid Radio Network.
Right back at it. Monday Night Football. Aaron Rodgers, we are looking at you. Buffalo Bills across the board here. -1.5s, -1s as a favorite. I don't buy into it. I'm telling you right now, if Shakir doesn't play and James Cook is hampered, I don't think Buffalo wins. Outside of Aaron Rodgers playing the way he did against the Minnesota Vikings and doing 3 turnovers all by himself and missing wide open touchdown passes. I think the Jets defense carries the day here. I like Aaron Rodgers in this game to just be competent. I like Breece Hall running back to get the running game cranked open. And by the way, I don't want this line to go anywhere, but I think you'll like this one. So if I'm saying to you, Kev, I really like that Jets running game. Oh, you know what? It's already moving. Hold on. Before talk for like 30 seconds, Kevin, so I can lock this in before I tell the people what I want.
All right, man. I like that little cover here for DRS. So now I'm fascinated to know what wager is it. How about this? I go full rogue. NBA starts in 8 days. Anybody getting their research done? Anybody looking for some preseason juice? Anybody wondering what the boosts will look like on a daily basis for the NBA, Donnie?
I am excited about the NBA until I saw Joel Embiid is going to miss the final 3, which I don't even know what to believe anymore. Are they just resting him here, or is it Joel Embiid? Just stay out until late March, and then we'll reintroduce you to the lineup and try to get a playoff run. But I am excited for the NBA because betting the NBA is for you, Kevin, like baseball really is to me. Like every single day, there are 10 games or whatever to bet. And it's just like there's endless fun and endless talk and endless chances to win. So it's better for me. The college basketball, I don't really get involved because there's too many teams to pay attention to in the playership. But the NBA, we all know the players. We all know the games. We all talked about it ad nauseum over the summer. You know the lineups like the back of your hand. And within 3 days, it'll be like, all right, let's go. Steph Curry to make hopefully not 6.5 threes at minus 110. You know what I mean? It's a lot of fun. All right. If I told you tonight, like I'm telling you that I like the Jets tonight, and it's because I think the running game gets cranked up. I go to Bet365, and I saw a number this morning. Like, you know what? That's going to be my bet. Didn't place it during the early show today. I was like, I'm going to get to it probably sometime in the afternoon. That line went from minus 130 to minus 135, so I had to bet it. So if I'm asking you right now, what bet did I just place at Bet365 on the Jets-Bills game tonight?
Brees Hall over rush attempts?
Nope.
No.
Which I do like. So does Vecchio. Vecchio likes that. It's a good one. 13.5. I like that. I do.
Jets
like
over half a rushing touchdown?
Jets over half a rushing touchdown, minus 135. Because if I'm saying to myself, I think they can get a rushing touchdown in. Like to take Brees Hall, what is it, like plus 110 to score a touchdown? And then if you take him and it ends up being Braylon Allen, it's like, oh my goodness. And it wasn't one of those, Kevin, where I actually expected to honestly see minus 175 or higher. I really did. So when I saw the 130 this morning, that's my bet tonight because that's juice. That's okay. But now I'm also getting both of those running backs in a game I think they win, and I do think has the chance to have that first and goal from the 2. We're just going to pound this football in and take that touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, you're just not supposed to see odds like that when a team boasts what's supposed to be one of the best backs in the NFL in Brees Hall, which I do feel has been somewhat lost in all this mayhem.
Yeah.
See, it's not that Braylon Allen is averaging, like Bucky Irving, averaging like 6 yards a carry, like taking over for Rashad White. Braylon Allen has been solid, Donnie. 4.5 yards a carry, no problem. It's that Brees Hall has been horrific.
Yes.
For
and slow,
a
and he
few
looks slow
weeks
in the
now.
past couple of weeks.
Brees Hall this season has one game where he averaged 3.5 yards per carry or better. His last 2 games, he has run for a combined 27 yards on 19 carries. He has been atrocious, Brees Hall, for the New York Jets. So I think that's one of the interesting things, like this, debate we ended up in with Lisi of Braylon Allen versus Brees Hall. And I'm not discrediting Lisi, who's big on Braylon Allen. I know he was lower on Brees Hall, but I don't know if anybody could envision a world where Brees Hall is like, I don't know if it's his job because he's terrible at football all of a sudden.
And also, like, from the perspective of, in case one of these guys gets hot, like, we know how you do it sometimes with Detroit. The one thing you should know is Montgomery's going to score every game that's in his contract. Like, regardless of what Gibbs does, Montgomery's going to get the bulk of those goal line carries. But now you get down there, like, Braylon Allen's a pretty good short yardage back, man. Big, strong, powerful, and can get it in. There's nothing worse to say. I love the ground game tonight. My anytime touchdown is Brees Hall. He gets 16 carries for 89 yards and doesn't score. And then Braylon Allen pummels one in from, 3rd and goal from the 1 yard line. It's like, why did I do that to myself? It was a good price. I thought it was worth a take, but that's my first bet in tonight. Minus 135 on the Jets to score a rushing touchdown on Bet365. The boys will be live from studio tonight. Pro Football Today, game time, massive game tonight. New York Jets, Buffalo Bills, breaking it all down, having fun, and winning bets. For JP behind the wheels of steel, Donnie Rightside and Kevin Walsh, thanks for tuning in once again to another edition of Moneyline. See you tomorrow.
Fall is here,